nobody saw that one coming. It looked like at one stage that with the total India set, Sri Lanka could have made it a relatively simple run chase. When they lost wickets in the first power play and the first 10 overs, then it looked like India were firmly in control until along came Captain Dasun Shanaka and later Chamika Karunaratne, taking them close. Finally, just a 2-run margin, a 2-run victory for Team India. 162 for 5 in their 20 overs. And Sri Lanka finishing 160, a run out of the very last ball of the innings. But great effort from both Dasun Shanaka and Karunaratne, finishing 22 of 16. Plenty of points to discuss. I guess we can start backwards here on Cricket Buzz Live with the final decision that Hardik Pandya had to make. Who bowls the final over, himself, Yuzvendra Chahal, Akshar Patel? At the end, he got it right just because of the result. But were you convinced with the choice of Akshar Patel?
Oh, interesting choice, wasn't it? I mean, there wasn't much choice, to be honest. I mean, look at Chahal today. I mean, overall, yes, Chahal probably is the one you would go to. But he's had 2 overs, both overs, not going his way. So day hasn't been best. Hardik Pandya himself has been injured. I didn't see that we were at Combox at over number 11. He's been moving gingerly since then. So then who else you go to? So I guess from that point of view, yes. But, worrying signs.
Yeah,
it almost, the game went away, that ball. That's why you need that 6th bowler at times, and that extra bowler is always handy in times like this. But it shouldn't have got that close.
It shouldn't have got that close, and you just thought it was meant to be. When the 19th over was being bowled and it was getting close, Harshal Patel conceded those boundaries, and you thought Hardik Pandya bowled the first over of the innings. Had it not been for that catch that he took, it would have been Hardik to start, Hardik to finish, captain in charge.
No, absolutely. And I was just thinking about it that, there were 2 places you could have taken the decision. Either he could have held Umran back for 1 more over later. But he felt that if he got the situation to that stage and dropped those 2 batsmen, at that time got rid of Shanaka, he probably thought that then it's going to be easy. What he didn't anticipate was that late burst from both Hasaranga and Karunaratne. That's what actually got the... So Sri Lankans never gave up. They never quite got there, but they never gave up. They stayed in the game, and that really forced his hand. Because if he couldn't bowl, I think given between him and Akshar Patel and Chahal, given the day Chahal is having with the ball and in the field, I think there was no option at all.
Yeah, I mean, we did mention Karunaratne, I mentioned Dasun Shanaka, but once again, Hasaranga showing his ability with bat in hand as well. We know what a genius he is with the ball. 21 of 10, yeah, looks just like a cameo, but at that stage, they needed 2 or 3 cameos, and Ajay, they would be home.
Yeah, because when they got together, I didn't think they would get that close, and that cameo came in. In fact, that partnership when Hasaranga and Shanaka were going, hadn't Hasaranga got out then, things could have, totally been different. But then you probably wouldn't have got what you got from Karunaratne. And when you look at that scorecard, what was interesting, if they put that back on, you look at the last number 10 and 9 and 10. They both played 4 balls each. One's got 1, one's got 5. So even if you'd got run a ball there, you lose this game. So, how they got there is impossible, because we were watching this game all along and it didn't look like Sri Lanka was anywhere close after over number 10. That partnership that you mentioned did bring them close, but they had to go all the way, and this is what happens. Right at the end, now things could have gone either way. I mean, last couple of balls, if the ball had taken an inside edge, India would have lost this game, or had he got 1 strike. So once you let an opposition get this close, then it's all about luck. The game has to be won long before that. And I'm a firm believer when we talk about death bowling and death batting, that's all luck. The real game happens at the top in both these innings, whether it was India or it was Sri Lanka. Where we ended up with our total was because of what we did in that first part of the innings, where you make a decision. When you get to the last game, then there is no decision making. Then there's no cricketing thought or belief. Then it's just whoever's way. And it was too close. I mean, I didn't see this coming. Even at 10 over mark, I thought India would win with a bigger margin. If they got close, then they should have won. But nothing that I saw happen today.
Interesting dynamics at the end. Just before we went on air, Ajay was telling us about his own experience at the Hero Cup when he was a relative newcomer and being part of that conference towards the end. Ishan Kishan looked like he was in charge out there.
Absolutely. And he was calling the fielding. At that point in time, he was calling the fielding. The bowler had stopped. He was turning it out. And it's interesting because I think That's what Hardik is probably, he's going to get his own core together, and definitely what it does look like, given the performances, given what he's doing nowadays, is that Ishan is definitely a part of that think tank, a part of the kind of people Hardik trusts with his team. And it's really up to the captain of how much rope he gives the other people, especially the wicketkeeper. But the interesting thing about this match also was one thing you notice, both teams had their opportunities, neither could finish the match when they had the chance. And that was the thing. It wasn't two great endings. It was both teams somehow managing.
Yeah,
so
neither
India managed
won the
not
game.
to lose. India didn't win. It managed not to lose. And Sri Lanka contrived to lose. I mean, that's the point.
Yeah, it wasn't a final delivery that was a great catch or a great delivery that finished it, or a big 6 or a 4 that finished it for Sri Lanka. It was just the inability to hit that boundary of the last ball, and really nothing from the bowler other than just doing his job.
Yeah, I think probably the start of the year, everybody's just coming back into the game, and they're absolutely right, because no one took the game away. You know, go back to that first over. We had 17 on board in that first over. 17 in the first over, you still end up at 165. Then Sri Lanka in trouble. Then they get to this stage. So I think it was almost a game where everybody's trying to find their feet. It's a new series. Everybody did their part. They did the right things. And from here on now, the game will begin and say, okay, you've left everything behind. I think it's almost like a delete button. What happened last year is all been deleted.